So right now we've got a lot of our Homeschool Village mamas in the hurricane areas, and your homeschooling's turned off. Some of you might have even lost your homes. Many of you are in dire need. Some of you are out helping others and your neighbors. And we are here to help you through this. So as you're homeschooling your children and as you're off and as you're struggling with it all, the best thing to do right now, can I just tell you, the best and most important thing you can do as a homeschool mom is hit the service areas. Go into service. Your kids are going to be off. It's okay. They might not touch the math, the English, the writing, the whatever. It's not about the academics right now, you guys. We lived through Hurricane Sandy 15 years ago, and we didn't homeschool for 6 months while we were cleaning the mud out of our basement, and we lost half of our house and everything in it, and we were helping neighbors. And you know what my children remember of that time is the service that was provided to us and that we were able to provide for others. And I think that was the thing to do. It was like our kids learned so many survival skills. They learned that things like this are going to be okay. They learned that to track a hurricane, right? That's part of science. We learned a lot about weather during that time. We learned a lot about what water damage can do. We learned a lot about an attitude during difficulty, how you can have an attitude of hope, how reaching out to others in time of need can really uplift you. How when you sit in your own mess, it can be extremely discouraging, but when your friends show up to help, what that can do for you. And I found that focusing on the positive, focusing on helping others, focusing on the service, focusing on literally letting go of academics right now and just focusing on what there is to learn around you, your children will get more out of this moment than anything. They will remember this for the rest of their lives. I can honestly remember the little moments. We had an experience when I was probably 10 where we were without electricity for a couple of weeks because electricity hit one of the poles right behind our house, knocked all the electricity poles down for miles, and we were without electricity in 102-degree weather for weeks. And I remember my mother using that time to teach us survival skills. I remember learning how to use candles. I remember learning how to cook outside. I remember learning what to do. And it was that time of my life of 2 weeks of no electricity that I learned major survival skills that I then used as a mother decades later when we were without electricity for weeks on end. And my children remember learning survival skills that week that they will pass on to their kids. So this is a beautiful time to teach, learn, do survival skills in and around you as part of education. That's part of education. What it'll do is it paid off for me one year when my daughter was a freshman in college and they lost electricity for 24 hours, the entire town. And she calls me, she's like, Mom, listen to the panic that's going on around me. She goes, you're screaming. People were running up and down the halls, freaking out. My daughter's like, somebody get me a barbecue. I'm cooking, you know? And so this is a great time for your children to learn not to panic. This is not that big of a deal. Let's work it through it. Let's learn the skills that go with it because they're going to have it again. I think I've needed these skills 4 or 5 times in my lifetime as different things have happened. And this is a beautiful homeschool time to teach your children real life skills. We have an emergency preparedness class. Did you know that? If you're a Homeschool Pro member, you have access to our emergency preparedness skills. Anne has been updating those lately, and they're in there, and it was taught, by the way, the entire lesson is created and taught by a man who travels the country teaching people survival skills. He's my neighbor. He lives 4 houses down, and he is one of the top U.S. experts in survival, teaching people how to live off the land, and he's given me everything he has as a gift. He's like, just get this out to the people, and we just hand this to you. So it's in there. So if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend you get in there.